Just a few meters away from the fireground, the night was torn apart. A massive explosion erupted as the transformer finally failed, igniting fuel, cables, and nearby structures. The call came in just after sunset. A reported fire near a cluster of shops and homes on the outskirts of Accra, close to a transformer tangled with illegal electricity lines. The Ghana National Fire Service crew responded immediately. Boots hit the appliance floor. The engine roared to life. Sirens wailed into the thick evening air. But the road was already against them. Potholes forced the appliance to crawl. Flash-flooded sections hid deep craters that threatened to damage the truck because it was drizzling. Traffic refused to yield. Some drivers pretended not to hear the siren. Others stared and continued slowly, as if the fire was none of their concern. A few even insulted the crew through open windows. "Firefighters with no water," one man shouted as the truck squeezed past. By the time they arrived, precious minutes had been lost. Sparks danced along overhead cables. The ground shimmered faintly with electricity, dangerous, invisible. The officer in charge immediately recognized the threat. "Relay to Fire Master Control to interrupt the power supply now," he warned, and handed over the handset to one of his members. Before the crew could fully deploy, the crowd had begun mobbing them. The firefighters tried to explain. They had water, they always did. But the insults came faster than the explanations.
"You came late and I believe you have no water."
"You just like making noise with sirens," he said. As the crew rolled out the hose, chaos erupted. "Leave the branch," the firefighter shouted. "They are live wires. The ground is charged." The officer in charge instructed once again, "Call for police assistance."
"FMC, from the officer in charge. Police assistance needed at the fireground. Over."
In no time, the firefighters were now surrounded, insulted.
"We're here to help."
Realizing they could no longer operate safely, the officer in charge made a painful decision.
"We're no longer safe. Mount!"
The firefighters decided to return to base, sirens silent, faces heavy with dread. Just a few meters away from the fireground, the night was torn apart. A massive explosion erupted as the transformer finally failed, igniting fuel, cables, and nearby structures. Fire consumed the area in seconds. Electricity surged through the wet ground. People who had stayed behind had no chance to escape. Lives were lost, many of them. The next morning, the headlines spoke of the tragedy. Illegal connections were blamed. The explosion was called unfortunate, but no one spoke about the insults. No one spoke about the bad roads and traffic delays. No one spoke about civilians refusing to give way to sirens. No one spoke about branches taken from trained hands. No one spoke about firefighters being fought instead of supported. At the fire station, the crew sat quietly, staring at their boots. They had answered the call. They had tried to save lives.
What if your father is a firefighter?
How about your mother, a relative, a loved one, or a friend? Whilst others were running away to save their own lives, the firefighters were in a haste to risk their lives to save lives and properties from a fire they did not set. But that night, duty was silenced, and the cost was paid in blood and fire.